This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Now, during the Asar Simei Teshuvah, 7 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and it's brought down in many Svarim, the Mishnah Berurah brings down from Rabbi and Eibeshitz, that the 7 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur correspond to the 7 weekdays throughout the whole year. In other words, on Sunday, today, what you do today, you could rectify and correct all the Sundays of the whole year. Monday, you could rectify all the Mondays of the whole year. And so on and so forth. Every day of the Asar Simei Teshuvah is a way to correct the entire year. So the question is, how do we go about the process of Teshuvah? What's the formula? What's the technique? Certainly, on the day of Rosh Hashanah, we have tremendous inspiration. We want to change ourselves. We want to completely transform ourselves. But realistically speaking, we thought that last year also, and the year before. And comes the end of the year and we look at ourselves, same old, same old. Doesn't seem like we've changed that drastically. What is the formula? What is the correct approach in order to do Teshuvah? Rav Shamshin Me'ashtrapolya, who's one of the great Mikubalim in the times of 1648, 1649, he says a tremendous remez, a mind-boggling remez. He says, the Gemara says in Masechta Yuma, Gedoyla Teshuvah Shemagas Ad Kisei HaKavod. That Teshuvah is great. It reaches all the way up to the throne of glory. So he says something very interesting. You ever see those Nana Nachman bumper stickers? Yeah, whatever they are, right? But, he says like this. If you take the words Kisei HaKavod, Kaf Samach, Kaf Samach Aleph, Kaf Samach Aleph Hey, Kaf Samach Aleph Hey Chaf, Kaf Samach Hey Chaf Beis, Kaf Samach Aleph Hey Chaf Beis Vav, Hey Kaf Samach Aleph Hey Kaf Beis Vav Dalet. You do Nana Nachman trick to the words Kisei HaKavod, right? You got it. You take the first letter and then you put it first and second, and then first, second, and third. You get the gematria of Teshuvah. Teshuvah equals ka, kis, kisei, kisei ha, kisei haka, kisei hakava, kisei hakavo, kisei hakavoid. Exactly. Yeah, it sounds good. Question is, what's that supposed to mean? What does that do for you now? You know, you could get up and you could say it, and everyone's going to be, yeah, that was good. But what do you take out of that? The answer is very simple. How do you do Teshuvah? The answer is, there's only one way to do Teshuvah. You have to take small steps. Small, concrete steps. The only way to get to the Kisei HaKavod is you can't fly there in one shot. Kisei, Kisei ha, Kisei haka, Kisei hakavoy. That's the only way to get there. Which means that every year during Asar Simei Teshuvah, of course, you want to improve everything. You want to change yourself around, and hopefully we'll become tzaddikim gemurim. But the practical way, the way that works, is you take 1 or 2 things, and you write it down, and you say, this year, I'm going to be careful. I'm going to daven Mincha. The first bracha of Shemona Esrei by Mincha, I'm going to have kavanah. That's it. That's my whole Teshuvah? Of course, you're going to try everything. But the thing that you're going to focus on, you're going to pick 1 or 2 things. People have to overcome kas, anger. They get angry. Take upon yourself, once a week, when something makes you angry, you're going to control you. Once a week, I get angry 500 times a week. Start slow. Take 1 thing. Kisei HaKavod takes time. A little bit. Kisei, ha. That's how you get there. There's a Mishnah at the end of Masechta Yuma. The Mishnah says, Amar Rabbi Akiva, Ashreichem Yisrael. The Jewish people are fortunate. Lifnei mi atem etarim. Who do you purify yourself before? Umi mitayer eschem. And who purifies you? Avichem sheba shamayim. God. And then Rabbi Akiva quotes two psukim. Shenemar, V'zarakti aleichem mayim tahirim utahartem. I will sprinkle on you the purifying waters and purify you. V'oimer Mikvah Yisrael Hashem. And another pasuk, God is the mikvah. So here, Rabbi Akiva is saying, God purifies us in two ways. The sprinkling waters and the mikvah. Says the son of Rabbi Yitzchak Elchanan Spector, there are two kinds of teshuvah. One is analogous to the sprinkling waters, and one is analogous to a mikvah. Now you have to know what's the difference between a mikvah and sprinkling waters. Sprinkling waters, when Beis HaMikdash stood, they had waters that accompanied Parah Aduma. How much of the sprinkling waters do you have to get on you? Well, you take one here. If one here touches a little bit of the water, or if one finger touches a little bit of the water, you're good to go, you're pure, you're tahar. And then there's something called a mikvah. Now, how does a mikvah work? A mikvah works entirely differently. If you're 99.99% in the mikvah, but there's one hair out of the mikvah, how much of you is tahar? 0. So there are two types of purification. There's mikvah, and there's mayim tahirim. Mayim tahirim, you just need a little bit. Mikvah, you need to be completely immersed. Says the son of Rabbi Yitzchak Elchanan Spector, there are two kinds of teshuvahs. One kind of teshuvah is you completely transform your whole personality. You never sin again. You never do an aveira. You transform yourself into a different person. That is one kind of teshuvah. But that teshuvah, we might not be ready for that teshuvah. But there's another kind of teshuvah. That's the na-na nachman kind of teshuvah. That's the kisei ha, the kisei ha-kavod kind of teshuvah. Where it's like mayim tahirim. You just get a little water sprinkled on you. You just take one mitzvah, one inyan, one small little thing, and you take it upon yourself to correct one thing. Oh, you've corrected one thing? You already did teshuvah. Not the teshuvah of a mikvah, but the teshuvah of the mayim tahirim. And you've affected a level of purity, and you've affected a type of purification and tahara. This is the type of teshuvah that is well within all of our reaches, all of our grasps. There was a family in Randallstown, and they were not yet Sabbath observant. And there was an old lady there. They shared a building with them. They shared the same laundromat as them. And this lady, who didn't know yet about Shabbos, she would go down every Saturday to do her laundry. And this old Yidina, an old lady, would come to her and say, "But it's Shabbos." And she would say, "Yeah, but it's my only opportunity. It's my only day. I work during the rest of the week." And she would say, "But it's Shabbos." Fast forward a few years later, this family is completely Shabbos observant, keeping kosher, keeping all the mitzvahs. And she was asked, "Where did it start?" And she said, "It all started with laundry." That's how teshuvah starts. Teshuvah starts with one small thing. You can't get to the kisei hakavod overnight, but you take the kaf, and the kaf samach, and the kaf samach aleph, and the kaf samach aleph hey, and the kaf samach hey chaf, and then you put in the beis, and you add it up, you get to the kisei hakavod gedola teshuvah shemagas ad kisei hakavod. I wish you all a Gemar Chasima Tova.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.